Hi, this is Amanda with Crafting with Amanda. Small business or artists need your help. You can help by subscribing to their channel, liking their videos, or leaving a comment. These actions help their videos reach more viewers. You can practice doing that right now. Thank you. Hi everyone. Today I am using up my scraps that were left over from after I made my Christmas cards. I do think I add another sheet of the Serenity paper into the mix, but that's pretty much it. I don't add anything else. I did at my craft day, the first craft day in December, I made those, I don't know if they're poppies or pansies or the flower with the gold embossing. I did make 60 of those, like 20 in white, 20 in bluebell, and 20 in sapphire. So that's what I was showing you. And now this is just kind of a free form, me walking through with the scraps that I have of designing some cards or just playing with paper. At the end of this video, if you want to jump all the way to the end, I did kind of some still photos with, you know, zooming like a pan shot over them, and you can see all of the cards. But if you just want to kind of watch the process and see how I change things around, and it's funny, when I was watching the video back again, I noticed that some of the layouts that I see in the camera actually look really good. So I might have to revisit them and create a card that way. The one leaf there, the gold leaf that you see, is actually a leftover. I accidentally cut the poinsettia base for my Christmas card out of the gold paper instead of out of the bluebell paper, and they were just laying on my desk, and I decided, hey, I'm going to use this as a way to bring some more gold in. I love this Serenity paper with the gold because the flowers have that almond toffee color in the center of them that just seems to work really well with gold. So I'm just having fun with it. I really, I don't always have the muse on my side to play around with papers, or even the time these days, which is funny since we're all just staying home. But the home improvement projects still continue, trying to move that ahead so that we can get furniture out of the garage and into the family room and more settled in, and furniture out of the living room into the family room. And it's just a whole big, you know, this is waiting on that, which is waiting on this, which if I get that done would make it easier, and just a whole bunch of little things. And I decided to do these in pairs because I figure if I'm coming up with a pattern, I might as well get 2 cards out of it. It's funny looking at these now. There's so many techniques and effects that you can add to cards. And later on in this video, I did splattering with the Shimmer Brush, and then I think in the next video, because these are freeform, I didn't use any pattern, look at anything, I just kind of made them up myself. But I've recorded some making of cards where I used sketches that I found on the internet, and I think I used, like, there's sketches all the way into the hundreds of these card layouts, and I think I did the first 5 sketches, maybe even the first 6. But I haven't even edited that video yet. I've just recorded it. So, and as this process goes on, sometimes I use glue and hold everything together, and sometimes I use a glue dot. I highly recommend the glue dot when making these little vignettes. And I just wanted to show that I love using the Misty for stamping on sentiments, because it centers them on your thin pieces of paper. And those were also scraps from my Christmas cards. So I have a drawer that I hold sentiment pieces, or sentiment size pieces, and so I just pulled out of that drawer. I didn't go from a pattern for this card. I'm just looking at the banners, but I remember I saw a scrapbook layout somewhere on Facebook. Someone had posted a layout with banners, and I really liked it. So I was just in the banner mode when I started to make these, because I made these cards over several weeks. Like, I would sit down And after wrapping a Christmas gift or ordering something or making, writing a thank you note, because my birthday was earlier this month, I would try to create a card before going to make dinner or painting a ceiling bay. So I just remember seeing a scrapbook layout and wanting to do something with it. So how fun is that? All right, so this gold paper is horrible for creating videos and reflections, but beautiful in real life on the paper. And again, just doing some banner ends on the sentiment. And I'm not sure if I popped this one up or not. I was trying to do flat cards. Oh, yep, I got the foam tape from the shaker card, or shaker card foam. So yeah, I did pop this up. But for the most part, I was trying to be mindful to create some flat cards. Foam tape ships, you know, through the mail just fine, but sometimes it's a nice challenge to see what depth you can get without the foam tape, just kind of using different techniques. Oh, and I was talking about doing the shimmer brush splattering, and looking at these now, since I've done some shimmer brush splattering, and since I also did some re-inker with rubbing alcohol spray in a spray bottle on future video cards, this looks just empty to me and blank. So, and now we're talking about doing the glue dot to hold all the elements together. It really works well, and especially with the thread, it just holds it nicely. And I'm guessing I forgot the thread on this one, and I'll put it on the card, and then I'll think, oh, there's too much white space, is my guess, and I'll go ahead and grab the thread. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of fun going back and watching these again. So I did end up spending one evening, or maybe it was a couple evenings, of just assembling flower vignettes with the little blue branches or gold branches and the embossed flowers that I did a couple weeks ago. It was kind of fun. In fact, I still have some left in the bowl. Of all of them are already done. Here you go. And that, I just took a glue dot to grab the thread, and then with my piercing tool or pokey tool, however you want to say that, picked it up and was able to slide it right under the flower, which is cool. You can see some splatter on the card on the right, and it just, in real life, it just adds some interest, I don't know, it's easier on the eyes, I guess. So it's a good thing. So just doing a second banner card here. It's not exactly the same, but it's banners, same pieces. So you can, if you want to make cards like this, it's really, you can use up a lot of scraps because it doesn't have to be all the same lengths or same widths or anything. And there I'm showing you, I use, or did use, a old-fashioned jelly jar that we also use as drinking glasses. Not this one. This one has now been crafts only. But to hold my Tombow aqua glue, well, I ended up emptying a small jar, glass jar, of horseradish. And it's even better because it's smaller. It's still glass, so it's heavy enough that it won't tip. But it keeps the glue upright more. So now I have a small horseradish jar for my glue, and I'm really liking it. So now I'm doing a different design, just plain. And if you're not familiar with Close to My Heart cardstock, it has white core, and it also has two colors. So it has the actual color that it's labeled as, in this case sapphire or bluebell, and then on the back side is a I call it second generation, but is a washed out version of that, or a lighter, paler version. So you actually get two tones, or can have two tones with one sheet of paper, which is kind of cool. Love inking the edges. Oh, there we go. You can see the two. I didn't even know I did that. So you can see the two colors of the cardstock for the sapphire. And inking the edges of paper, instead of matting it, it gives it a little bit more depth without having to mat your cardstock. And since I'm using up scraps, I don't want to do a lot of matting. I want to be able to get a lot of cards done and send a bunch of happy mail out to people. So been going through a lot of stamps in this house. That was the poinsettia for my Christmas card, and then you can see the whole pile of branches that were left over on the Cricut mat, and I had to use them for something, so this is where we're at. And I don't do it all the time, but when I remember, and I'm just starting to do this, for the gold foil paper, if you put the glue on the project and then lay the paper into it, the gold paper into it, it gives a better end result, because then the gold, if you put the glue on the gold, it almost makes a line when you go to adhere it. It like wets the paper and makes it wrinkled wherever the glue was, where if you do it on your project and then lay it into it, it just seems to even out, and just, like I said, a better result at the end. So here I'm guessing, based on this placement, that I'm just trying out different locations for a little vignette of flowers. So we'll see where I end up with this. And I'm just bending the little branches a bit, and I put a dot of glue over on my nonstick mat that I'm dipping the points in and then sliding them under the flowers. And like I said, this is prior to the evening when I just went ahead and created all of them, all the vignettes, just to be done with it. So I think I should have removed one leaf from that one instead of having the 4 branches sticking out, but you know, hopefully the recipient won't mind. Oh, I'm going to do some splatter with the Sapphire Shimmer Brush. That's easy to say. And I just take my dry embossing stylus and tap the brush, and it just kind of splatters all over. And I did that in an it's like an aluminum roasting pan that you can get from any grocery store, Dollar Tree, anywhere. And I just keep one for spraying in my studio. I think this is the card that I was like, oh, that's kind of cute, and then I ended up deciding no, I needed something different, so I changed it all entirely. So this is where the freeform comes in, of I'm just making it up as I go. I just love the Serenity papers. It's soothing to me. Apparently I really like the gold combination, but as you saw in the beginning, I have lots of scraps left with the gold, so I think I end up using some punches in some of the cards too. I'm not sure if it's on this video or if it's on the ones that I use sketches from. So, and again, because I'm making 2 cards, you can see that I'm kind of splitting things down and getting 2. So, and no card is exactly the same. The splatters take care of that, but they're fun to make. And I like Cherish the Moment, because it can be, cherish the moment, happy birthday, cherish the moment, congratulations, cherish the moment, thank you for bringing joy to my world. It can just, cherish the moment to me is just a way to send a smile, and or a reminder to slow down if people are just running hard, because it is the Christmas holiday madness of life. This year, 2020, it's been crazy, but that's not a bad layout there. Kind of put the sentiment over top of the gold, parallel to the gold. We'll see if that's where it ends up, but I kind of liked that. All right, again, just inking the edges. It really does, it gives some depth, especially like on the light blue. You can see it actually has a frame around it. My hands end up being, I think I lived with blue hands for a couple days. I have essential oils in my shampoo that I use to help my hair as I get older. And that seems to really do a great job on removing the ink from my hands. But since I've been doing these cards over the course of several days, I ended up having a lot of ink on my hands. Oh, and the Shimmer Brush, I was using it to color cards. I'll have a video out, I think, of that too. I did, using the December stamp of the month from Close to My Heart. It was these beautiful roses or peony, however you want to say it, and I was coloring them in with the Shimmer Brush, And if you hold the shimmer brush too close to the tip, to the brush, there's an air hole that normally isn't an issue, but you know, I'm sure that through capillary action and that, I ended up wicking all of this shimmer brush ink down my fingers, and it was kind of like I had learned how to use an old-fashioned fountain pen, you know, where you end up with all this ink until you're well practiced on how to use them. So I've been trying to hold the shimmer brushes higher up on the barrel, but for control purposes, I just tend to hold it closer to the brush edge. So you can see, again, just assembling these cards, and I remember thinking I actually got out a microfiber cloth and was polishing some of the gold strips because there just was fingerprints on it, but you don't see that on the video. And I'll probably end up, before I send them out, making sure that all the fingerprints are removed. So again, this is just, I made a pool of the liquid aqua glue and then made my vignette right on the card. Oh yay! Whew, 3 looks so much better than 4. So sometimes when I'm creating, I don't take time to step back or to, you know, leave the stuff on the crafting space and step away from the thing that I'm working on, and I need to do that more. But sometimes just the crafting process is very relaxing and soothing, and I'm, you know, relying on the fact that recipients are going to enjoy whatever they get. So here I cut it to 5.5, and then I cut it down into 3 strips, as you can see. I think I end up making 3 different cards. And so now I'm going through the gold and trying to find pieces that are big enough. You can see kind of the poinsettia flowers points. That's what was cut out of that gold paper. And not that I don't have full sheets of this that I can use, but it's just one of those things that I really try not to be wasteful or fill landfills with stuff if I can utilize them. So I try to use up versus, you know, throwing too much away. But it's a balance, because you can make yourself crazy trying to use every very last tiny little piece, but I think I do a pretty good job. So I'm just cutting various widths of strips of the gold that I'll end up using on the different cards as we move forward. And actually I cleaned my scraps up off of my craft table earlier this week, and I have a lot of those left, so you will be seeing them in the future. So now I'm just doing some dry fit, seeing what will work. I love the ombre effect on the back of the Serenity paper, and you don't really see it on the video, but it has speckles and almost like a watercolor wash effect with like maybe they use some salt where that pulls the pigment up off of the project, and maybe even splattered with other colors. It's nice. It gives some interest and warmth into the papers there. I just love it. Oh, it looks like I got a new sheet of the Serenity paper. And again, these are the scraps. You can kind of see the blue sapphire piece that's on the cutting, the cutter. That's where a poinsettia was cut out of. So I do try to use up what I have. So I'm just squaring off, getting some strips out of this paper, and it's a good thing. And at the end, I've actually done where you almost do a patchwork quilt of small pieces on card fronts, and then I call it embedded embossing. That little bowl that had the leaves and the other gold in it were leftover pieces from I think the November club night cards, and I haven't used up those scraps yet, so, but I get to cut a brand new piece of paper. Yay! I love doing that. And I'm not sure, looks like 2.5 inches maybe I'm cutting things down. And again, I went from doing 2s to doing 3s just because the piece with the ombre coloring on it, I decided to do 3 instead of just 2. And here's where I'm starting to realize glue dots are your friend when you're making these vignettes with the flowers and the branches and the thread. And I'm just kind of giving the branches some depth. I curl them in the palm of my hand just to give them a natural bend, because sometimes it's a little more difficult when I bend them with my fingers. I end up getting a crease instead of just bent. And I think there was just so much going on my craft table that I didn't get out my foam and my embossing stylus and just kind of run it down the middle of the spine of the branch. So there's probably just too much on my desk for me to feel like I could put one more thing on it and not be overwhelmed. I'm sure you guys never have that problem on your crafting space, but I do on mine. So just kind of putting my stems in. There's my piercing tool as my extra hand. Yay, I'm only using 3 branches. Getting smarter as we go along. And so it looks like I'm going to do this again for the other cards and start with the thread. And it's really nice having the glue dot to hold those things together. So I do end up with the ones that I did all in the evening when I finished up doing the rest of them. I ended up adding glue, aqua glue, on top of the glue dot before I put the flower on it, and it just really helped secure everything, and I don't have to worry about it coming loose from just the glue dot. So there's another tip there of go ahead and use a glue dot and aqua glue. So as we're wrapping up here on this video, we typically do Christmas Eve has always been hors d'oeuvres in this house, and mostly that's because I was always involved with church and all of the different Christmas Eve worship services, and so the family would come to one, and then we would have some hors d'oeuvres before we went to church, and then it was just quick and easy to eat a little bit after church. And we always open one gift Christmas Eve, so the kids will get to do that. I've actually told my husband that he gets to open one today too. So we have that going for us today, and looking forward to that. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful Christmas and kind of celebrating getting here, and thankful for the people that we have in our lives. And for me as a Christian and a follower of Christ, I'm very grateful that Jesus is on my side, our team, and helping get us through this, and realizing all that we have going for us and how blessed we really are. So that's what we will be doing this evening. And then maybe tomorrow we'll see if people take naps or whatever. I might sneak into my craft room and do some more creating. So here's some of the cards that I just created. And I should have, I won't have it today, but I should have a blog post with these photos on them if you want to look more in details later. But I really like the Shimmer Brush splatter. Not easy to say. And you can see I punched some gold leaves out from using a store-bought punch, and so that's a different look to the cards too. But hopefully you have a wonderful day and get to have some crafting time. Blessings to you all. Bye.